Hi and welcome to the channel. I have a fun video for you today. I'm going to be exploring the favorite meals of the stars of old Hollywood, all of whom are still very much beloved today. You might be surprised what they enjoyed eating, so let's go on and take a look. And a little surprise, I'm going to be testing one of those recipes. I'm going to see if I find it as delicious as the actor did, and will I want to add it to my favorites. To this because for about a decade I was a private chef to the rich and famous, and that entails me cooking in the private homes of people who appear on television, in movies, professional athletes, and people of means who have need for someone to come into their home and prepare their food. So I have firsthand knowledge of what they like to eat, and spoiler alert, they're not eating magical food from another world. They eat the same things as you and I do. The legendary American actress Katharine Hepburn had a well-known appreciation for cooking and food. Her culinary preferences and favorite dishes are relatively well documented. Hepburn was known to have a particular fondness for pasta. She reportedly enjoyed making and eating spaghetti, often cooking it for herself and her guests. One of the dishes associated with Hepburn is her own recipe for chocolate brownies. She once shared her brownie recipe in an interview, which became quite popular and is still enjoyed by many today. It's very similar to the Nestle cocoa powder brownies, which is a favorite of mine. Clark Gable likes raw onions. As you can imagine, his romantic lead co-stars did not appreciate this. It was Clark Gable's wife, Rhea Gable, who shared the star's favorite foods with Modern Screen magazine. In an interview in the movie star's home, Rhea told reporter Marjorie Dean that Clark preferred typical home-cooked meals over fancy cuisine. Rhea went on to say, "If you expect me to tell you that Clark likes truffles and caviar, you're going to be disappointed. He is, after all, just a person, you know." In fact, her husband's day often started with pancakes and sausage. At lunchtime, he liked to eat stuffed pears and sandwiches. His favorite dinner was pot roast, and for dessert, he preferred a bit of homemade cake. Cary Grant's success was not only due to his charisma and dashing good looks, but the actor had a natural comedic talent. There is an award-winning recipe for his oven barbecued chicken, which I'm going to prepare for you in this video. He says of the recipe, "Now go to it, friends, and don't blame me if it's not to your liking, for after all, the recipe is not mine. It is the National Prize winner of the year, and I happen to like it." All right, so now I'm going to head into the kitchen and start testing this recipe. Let's go. All right, so the chicken gets seared in a pan just before it's put into the oven. So I'm just drying my pieces, and I'm halving the recipe because I don't need to cook. Is it 3.5 pounds of chicken? This is about 2 pounds of skin on, bone-in thighs, which I think will be really good for this recipe. Okay, so that's dry. I've got my oil heating, and now I'm going to start the sauce while the oil gets warm in my cast iron skillet. I'm using the original recipe. I will link it below. This is on PBS because the kind of adapted versions are different than this. The preparation is different, and I want to follow this one specifically. Okay, so it's browned in fat with no flour, and then I'm going to combine all the ingredients for the sauce. And what makes this stand out to me, other than, you know, this is probably something everyone's had at some point, but it's cooked over a really low, or in a low oven, 300 degrees specifically. So it's going to cook kind of low and slow, and that's really going to get the flavor into it. And then it's also got chopped up onion in it instead of just some onion powder in the sauce. All right, so let me get these cut up. Here I will add my ketchup. I make my own ketchup. I make everything. Half a cup. And so I'm doing half the recipe. The original recipe is a full cup. Worcestershire sauce for a cup. Water. Sugar. A1 sauce. Cider vinegar. And then the onion and garlic. And that's the sauce. All right, so my chicken is browned. I did about 5 minutes on each side with salt and pepper while they were browning. And I'm going to use a fairly tight-sized baking pan, otherwise the sauce will evaporate too much and burn. So it says just pour this over, and I'll turn it once while it's cooking, but I'm starting with skin side up. Make sure it gets everywhere. All right, my oven is preheated, and I will start the baking. I'm going to assume this will take close to 2 hours at a 300-degree oven, and these are fairly thick pieces of chicken thighs.
Betty Davis had a particular fondness for a few dishes. She was known to enjoy simple and classic American foods like hot dogs, steak, and baked potatoes. One favorite stands out, and that is Boston baked beans. Her recipe is a simple classic one, and it is available for the public to try even today. Humphrey Bogart had a fondness for a dish called coconut Spanish cream. This is a cooked custard with eggs and gelatin, lightly sweetened. Then shredded coconut is added along with orange extract for additional flavor. It is then poured into a mold, and after chilled and firm, it is garnished with more coconut, grated orange rind, and perhaps some orange sections. My mouth is watering just reading this because I am a coconut superfan. Joan Crawford loved an exotic fruit called the ugly fruit. Ugly fruit is a natural hybrid between 3 citrus fruits, which are grapefruit, Seville orange, and tangerine. The ugly fruit tastes like a combination of all 3. In a 1965 article featured in Vogue magazine, they had some recipes of Joan's. She did enjoy cooking and entertaining at home. In the article, you will see Crawford's recipes for boiled beef, spinach salad, kidney bean salad, and pork chops with red onions and fried apple rings. She fried the apples by cutting green apples into thick slices and then sprinkling with lemon juice. Next, the fruit is tossed with butter, then heat is added. While the apple slices cook, nutmeg, cinnamon, and brown sugar are put on top. That sounds like a delicious side dish to pork chops, doesn't it? The earliest documentation of James Dean's favorite food was an interview for his high school newspaper, in which he shared that he loved Aunt Hortense's banana salad. As he rose to fame, he was known to frequent a few different spots in Hollywood, including eating brick oven pizza at Villa Capri and lunch at Hamburger Hamlet. I do have a banana salad recipe on this channel, but it looks nothing like Aunt Hortense's, which is made by layering a cooked sweet and creamy dressing with chopped peanuts and sliced bananas. That sounds like a childhood comfort food if ever there was one. Legendary beauty and actress Elizabeth Taylor enjoyed good food. In addition to enjoying champagne and caviar,
Liz, girl, same.
she loved eating quintessential American foods like cheeseburgers and French fries. When she was really indulging, she turned to fried chicken and mashed potatoes, as well as chocolate cake. When it came to eating, Marilyn Monroe appeared to be a creature of habit. She loved to cook and she loved delicious food, but was often found eating a few things over and over again. For lunch and dinner, she ate a lot of meat, particularly favoring grilled steak according to fine dining lovers. Alongside meat, she liked a variety of vegetables, but carrots were said to be her favorite. Marilyn cooked for herself even while staying in hotels. She would pick up her favorite meats and vegetables at a nearby market and bring them back to her hotel to cook on an electric oven. When she did eat out, it seems it was to stop for dessert. She liked to end the evening with an ice cream sundae or a piece of cake.
Right, it's been about 2 hours. This should be done. I'm going to double check it with the heat thermometer just to make sure. Yeah, it's well over 180, going up in the 190s, not too close to the bone. And you can thicken this per the recipe with some cornstarch if you would like. I think it looks nice like this. It's reduced down. There's some fat from the skin of the chicken in there. Make it really flavorful. All right, let's put some on a plate. I'm gonna let it rest just, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and then I'll try it. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, and more steam coming off of it. Very tender. It's very tasty. I like the pronounced flavor of the onion that was added to the sauce mix. It does taste like a typical homemade barbecue sauce style chicken, but the onions really give it just a little bit something extra. It deepens that flavor. And the chicken is incredibly tender and very moist. I can see why Mr. Grant enjoyed this. It's a definite comfort food type of dish.
Marlon Brando was said to eat 2 steaks at a time, paired with potatoes and 2 apple pies. He loved Pepperidge Farm cookies, although, let's get real, who doesn't love Pepperidge Farm cookies? And eating chocolate melted over the fresh coconuts grown on his personal island. He was also known to have a thing for Burger King Whoppers in the 1980s. It was ice cream, however, that he loved the most and continued eating it even when he lost 70 pounds later in life. Audrey Hepburn enjoyed simple pasta with tomato sauce. In her book, At Home with Audrey, you can see her sauce pomodoro over spaghetti. It is a sauce made with tomatoes, carrot, celery, onion, and basil, with a bit of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano served over perfectly cooked pasta. She loves serving this to family and friends. Miss Hepburn also enjoyed delicious dark chocolate. An iconic actor who starred in old westerns, John Wayne's diet seems fitting for the type of characters he played on the screen. Like many of our aforementioned movie stars, John Wayne really loved old-fashioned home-cooked meals. The movie star loved to grill and had a large grill in his home. In addition to steaks, he also loved an egg casserole that included green chilies, Monterey Jack, and cheddar cheeses, as well as tomatoes. One specific recipe of his has become well known, similar to a shepherd's pie. It's a beef casserole topped with biscuits. John liked to indulge in sweet treats and whiskey. Famously a huge candy lover, John Wayne is said to have favored Tootsie Rolls. Near the end of his life, much to his dismay, that his deteriorating health kept him from indulging in his favorite treats like candy and alcohol. He was known to be a big drinker, preferring tequila, whiskey, and brandy. If someone asked the people closest to you right now today what your favorite food is, what would they say? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know what you like to eat more than anything else. Consider subscribing and give the video a like. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again.